Hello, Ben Opit here from Wildtech. Today I'm going to show you two features inside of Wiise. One for granting an approval for a purchase order, myself having a limit of only $100 when I attempt to purchase something, and the landed cost module that Wiise offer to help manage multiple purchase orders. For example, a container coming into the country and you've got multiple purchase orders in that container, how it can use the Wiise landed cost module to update all the expected receipt dates. So with that, I'll jump in and I'll show you my screen. Just to take note, two things. In this environment, my work date is the 1st of the 4th. And this second tab here is my manager. You can see here, there are no requests for approval at the moment with the 0 here. So I'll be switching between these two environments. Okay, let's have a look at our purchase orders. I have a few purchase orders that have been released. Down the bottom here is this open purchase order. Now, as I shared, I can only purchase up to $100. So if I click on this on this purchase order, we can see some information regarding this purchase order, who the vendor is, the document date being today's date, our due date, which is our agreed terms with the vendor, our order date being the 30th of the 7th, and what the request is. So clearly our system has told us that we need to purchase some floor polish. Now we need to purchase this in boxes of 100 because that's the way this has been set up. And you can see the amount is $625. So if I try to release this, I'll get a notice saying, sorry, you can't do that. You have to send it to your manager for an approval. So I have to now press this button, the request approval. When I press send approval request, I'll get a notification and that will go through on my manager. If I go to the main screen, you'll see that this bottom purchase order now says pending approval. I could also click on the filtered list here to see which ones my pending approvals are. So it's 106010, which is the purchase order number for vendor 50,000 for $625. If I switch over to my manager's account, we can see the request has come through. $625 for that purchase order. I can approve it, I can reject it, or I can delegate it to someone else. I'm going to approve this, which will now make that purchase order change from pending. And if I click on release purchase orders, or if I press refresh the screen, I might show you that way first, this will disappear from a pending order because it's no longer pending, now been released. So we now have this additional purchase order at the bottom here that is ready to also be scheduled for receipt. So built into Wiise is a module called the landed cost receipts. This is where we can manage and maintain a container with many purchase orders in it. I only have this one container set up. I've got an expected arrival date of the 30th of the 9th with an expected receipt date, which is usually after that of the 30th of the 10th. And I can show you how we could update our expected receipt dates on this container. So let's click into the container and have a look at details. So let's look at the general tab first. This is my unique container number. In this example, my landed cost receipts. What location I'm going to receive the product into. I can also set up zones and codes if we'd like to. For example, inward good, or if it's a cold storage item, you can receive it into your cold storage. Posting date, which is the 1st of the 4th. Some shipment details, probably from our freight forwarder. And obviously my name because I'm the person receiving it. So I'll minimize that for a minute. I'll move across to the shipment. This is the actual shipment details, what the vessel is called, what the container number is, what the name of the container is, if we have a seal for security, which we usually do, who our shipping agent is, in this case it's Maersk, and our shipping method code. We also have things like bill of lading number and number of full container loads. Our departure date is the 1st of the 7th as per our freight forwarder, and an expected arrival date of the 30th of the 9th with an expected receipt date of the 30th of the 10th, which is probably a bit out, but again, just demonstration data. Now, at the moment, the status of this receipt should probably be at loading or on C. Let's say it's at loading, but we don't have any lines here. Now, this is where we can bring in all of our open purchase orders relating to this container or this advised freight details, which we will get from the freight forwarder. If I click on Get Source Document, this button up here, we'll get a list of purchase orders. And you can see on this list here, I've got 4 that actually have the CIF shipment method code. So I can use these 4 different purchase orders from 4 different vendors to fill this container. I might as well bring in the XWorks one as well. Very simple matter of clicking on the select more, select them all, and press OK. They all get planted into the lines of this landed cost receipt with all of the item numbers, the details, there's our floor polish, and the quantity we're expecting to receive. Now, the due date here on that purchase order that we created was the 30th of the 7th, but this is the expected receipt date as advised from our freight forwarder. But let's say something's gone wrong and we're expecting delays, usually what's happening in the world today. We know it's on C, the freight forwarder has told us, and our expected date now has been revised. It's expecting to come around the 20th of October, for example. Now, a fantastic button that Wiise has added is the ability to update expected receipt purchase order lines. So please keep an eye on this due date as I press this button, which will now change to the 20th of the 10th. So all of those purchase orders, I don't have to go into and manage each individually. I can do it in one fell swoop. Now, that's a fantastic process. And throughout the journey of this container, we can move it from in air or docking or being cleared for clearance or is still in transit. So we've got many statuses that we can update the team on. So when it's in clearance, we can update our expected receipt date to the 20th, let's say the 28th, which is the Friday, and then update the expected order lines. So the team get constantly updated on what's happening with their goods, and we can also plan for our warehouse. Then it'll be a matter of auto-filling the quantity to receive, which will move all these over to 1 becomes here, 5 becomes here, so we don't have to do it one at a time, or we can manually enter it if we know that we're expecting less, and then we can post our landed cost receipt. So a very nice and very handy way to manage a complex, challenging world that we're in at the moment, and how Wiise can help alleviate some of that pain. Thank you for listening. See you on the next one.